And welcome to the Box Score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway. Terry Collins along with Jeff Barnes, and I guess this is our Christmas edition, Jeff.
It is Christmas.
Just a few days away from Christmas, and some of you will be watching this on Christmas. And we had our Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week on DTC Sports was Cannon County at the Cab. Josh Agee and I got an opportunity to do that ball game, and Cannon County girls breaks. I think it was a 7-year losing streak to the Cab, as the Cab won by 3 in the game at Woodbury, but then Cannon gets revenge, 64-46. And Jeff, you know, for head coach Ashley Patrick, that had to be a great weight lifted off their shoulders.
I think so too, and knowing that Aniston Holt, gosh, had such a great game, Addie King. And I think she talked to, we had talked to her not too long ago. She was talking about, it was a game that got away from them, but they did a good job with DeKalb. Van Vranken was the only one that could really get going, and that's the key. If you beat DeKalb, if you shut down everybody, Ellen's going to get her points. No doubt about that. But defensively, they did a good job.
Holt had 5 threes there in the first half, 19 points. Her team built the lead, and then Addie King comes along in the second half, hits a lot of mid-range jumpers, and just did a great job for them. Van Vranken really struggled in the first half, but then came back in the second half and tried to help her team to. But the one thing with Cannon, especially when you look at when you got Lawson in there with Pelham, and they occasionally did that. If Pelham got in foul trouble and she wound up fouling out, but Allie Lawson came in and played well for them interiorly. And DeKalb just really struggled shooting the ball from the perimeter. And
it was kind of almost a mirror of the White County game because DeKalb kind of struggled against the Warrior Ants. Warrior Ants was able to put up 92 in there. It was the same way. I think Van Vranken had 19 in that game, but most of those came late in the game when she was trying to get her team back in, but to no avail.
We've got some highlights from that game. We'll have some from the girls' game and the boys' game that you'll be seeing as we are talking. But when you look at that boys' game, one of the, I guess, signature plays in that game is we first of all talk about the game. I thought Cannon County did a great job of doing what they do. Lucas Phillips with 16, A.J. Armstrong with 12. Connor Close, a big night with 26 points, including a big dunk there. At the end, Robert Wheeler with 8, but Close is so athletic, Jeff. He can do so many things. He's very, very talented.
And and he is the key to getting DeKalb going, because a game against White County, both teams was about even, and then all of a sudden they build up a 17-point lead, courtesy of Connor Close. Connor gets things going. He's got outside shooting. He'll drive to the basket. Finding the open man. They do, and he does a great job. Whenever he's on a roll, they are tough to stop.
Elisha Ramos with a couple of big plays that you'll be seeing. One was a behind the back, about a 35-40 foot lob pass too close for the layup. Another one was a lob for a dunk that kind of brought the house down. It was a tremendous crowd there. Jeff, that's always been a huge rivalry between Cannon and DeKalb. I think DeKalb was disappointed with their effort in talking to Joey Agee, that they lost by 2 in the game at Cannon. They felt like they didn't play well, but you got to give Jared Nave and his team credit. They do what they do, and they do it well. They play within themselves. They don't take a lot of bad shots. They play solid defensively. They get the shots to the people that they want shooting, and they're a very young basketball team.
Yes, and they're going to be tough in the future.
Right. District 6 AA, of course, only has 4 teams, so we'll be looking for good things from Cannon County Lions. Let's go ahead and look at the Honeycutt Carthage District 7A scoreboard. You got York Institute over Clay County in a girls game, then Clay County big over Jellicoe, Pickett over East Robinson. Smith County gets the win at Gordonsville, 62-53. And then Monroe County beats Red Boiling Springs by 2, which is Red Boiling Springs' first loss of the season.
A couple of games on there. York Institute really playing some good ball, especially this week that we'll talk about in just a minute. And I know Gordonsville may be a little upset they didn't get the sweep this season, but Smith County, they were a little bit more ready against Gordonsville.
Of course, Chloe Collins didn't play in the game on Friday night, did return on Saturday night, had 18 points and 7-9 shooting to lead the Lady Owls in their win at Gordonsville. Looking at other scores from the Honeycutt Carthage, a very close game. White County over Red Boiling Springs. You know, White County sitting there at the 3A level, Red Boiling Springs at the 1A. But, Tara Pryor and her team at Red Boiling, they do a lot of great things. And on Monday night, for them to go to Sparta in that shootout and play White County within 4 lets you know just how good Red Boiling Springs is.
They're a good team, and White County had just played Bradford earlier in the day and just absolutely obliterated them. It was 71-25. Much closer game against Red Boiling Springs. The key for White County coming back was Nia Powers.
Right.
She had I think 39 in that game.
Right.
It was just and was just, without her, I think Red Boiling Springs goes to Sparta and gets a shocker.
On Tuesday night, we had last night I was over to watch the Gordonsville Watertown game. Both teams struggled to score offensively and wound up 34-26. Pickett County gets the big win. So does Clark Range, and then Red Boiling Springs rebounds with a win over East Nashville up at the Sparta tournament. Let's go ahead and look at the games that will be playing as far as Pickett County, Clark Range, Red Boiling Springs, playing Warren County, Clay County versus Macon County up at Salina in their Christmas tournament. But when you look at Red Boiling Springs against Warren County's got a great team, I think.
They do.
Jeff. But I think it'll be another measuring stick for the Lady Bulldogs, for them to play who they're playing and competing. I mean, they go to Smith County and get the win on Friday night. They were undefeated until they lost, last week. That first game from, a team up in Kentucky. Red Boiling Springs is kind of saying, putting caution to the wind. Hey, District 7A, we're going to compete for the top spot here.
Oh, no doubt about that. And this game right here between Red Boiling Springs and Warren County, this could easily be a championship game, but I think this is good. This is the consolation game in the Frank's Christmas tournament down in White County. That'll be a good game right there. Coach Lippy's done a good job with the Lady Pioneers.
Let's go ahead and look at the girl standings. As you see, nobody's played district yet. Of course, we'll get that as soon as the first of the year, but when you look at those 5 teams, I don't know that there is a dominant team, but I think a lot of close scores are ahead in the new year for District 7A girls.
In the past, Terry, you could always say Clark Range is going to be the cream of the crop, and then it's everybody else. Right. I think it's everybody. It's, you just never know. It could be Red Boiling Springs. They could be the best team in the district, despite being, a half game overall behind Pickett County.
Let's go ahead and look at the boys' Sonic scoreboard. Smith County gets a win over Red Boiling Springs last Friday night. York, big win over Pickett County. Saturday night, Gordonsville gets the home win over the Owls, 68-65. Owls without 3 players in that ball game. Clay County gets the win over Jellicoe. Other scores of Sonic of Carthage, Anderson County over Clark Range. Gordonsville gets the win in overtime last night in Gordonsville over Watertown. A well-played game offensively by both teams. Pickett County over Cosby up in Oneida. Then on Wednesday, we've got Pickett County versus the host Oneida, then Clark Range versus Providence Academy, Clay County versus Trowster County up in Salina. Let's go ahead and look at the standings. Gordonsville sitting there at 9-2, Pickett at 7-3, Clay County 6-2. Of course, they're just getting their football boys back, but still, I think those top 3 teams, it's going to be a very competitive race in District 7A. We'll go ahead and take a break, and we'll have more from the District 6AA and 7 AAA scores and schedule when we return, as we remind you, watching the box score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
From payroll and bookkeeping to expert tax preparation and advice, H&R Block is ready to work for you. For the year-round services you need and the one-on-one attention you deserve, partner with H&R Block Business Services. You focus on your business, we'll handle the books. Call today to make an appointment with our Carthage, Smithville, or Woodbury office. H&R Block Business Services, helping your business prosper with a unique combination of services, expertise, and convenient locations.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master, certified, and experienced heavy-duty maintenance techs, maintenance supervisor, entry-level and experienced miners and exploration infill drillers, grade operator, electricians, laboratory and metallurgical technician, senior metallurgist, and more. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and lots more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
Neighbors help each other. It's how community works. And it's how we do business at DTC. You can count on us for internet, TV, and phone, backed by local support.
For a limited time, get 1 month free when you add or upgrade your internet package. Enjoy internet speed that can keep up with all you do.
DTC. We're working hard to be a good neighbor.
And welcome back to the Box Score. Kerry Collins along with Jeff Barnes, and Justin Malden's always doing a great job for us behind the scenes. Let's go ahead and look at the Honeycutt Carthage District 6 AA girls scoreboard. You got Rebel Orange Springs, a big win on Friday night over a shorthanded Smith County team. Of course, they had a girl in that game, Sarah Wilmore. They only have 8 or 9 players, and now she's out with a torn ACL. So when you look, the Lady Owls and Matt Farrell are going to have to maybe recruit some bodies before this one's over. They're still waiting the return of Marissa Spivey. Then on Saturday night, they get the big win at Gordonsville, 62-53, to avenge the 6-point loss that they had at Bill Lander Gym in Carthage. Then on Monday night, you got Cannon County over Huntland, 48-43.
Hey, congratulations to Smith County. They, despite being shorthanded, got the win. They had to give them a little bit of confidence after having a tough loss against Red Bull in spring.
Of course, they're off this week and will be playing next week in Hilton Head, South Carolina, in a tournament up there. Let's go ahead and look at some more scores. You've got Brentwood, super close ball game down in Lebanon. They win at 49-48. Westmoreland, another quality win, 42-38. Of course, when you think of Westmoreland, they lost to Gallatin last Friday night. But then you got Gordonsville over Watertown, and then you got Cannon and Westmoreland in these holiday tournaments. And I think playing these different types of schools, Jeff, makes them better.
Oh yeah, this is the time you kind of hone your skills a little bit, because it just prepares you a lot for district play whenever you get to the meat part of the schedule. And some of these teams are jumping in a couple of weeks when we start 2023.
6 AA girls standings. When you look, you've got Westmoreland sitting on top there at 8-4, Smith County at 8-5, Cannon at 7-5, Watertown, who struggled to score, at 4-6. I think Watertown, they've got to be able to put the basketball in the hoop if they're going to compete with these other teams. Not that they're that far behind them, Jeff, but like I do, you've got to score probably at least in the 40s if you're going to win a ball game.
Exactly. You and I have talked about 2, 3, and 4. That could be, it could be anybody right there. But yeah, we was talking about Watertown struggling to score. Westmoreland's the team to, probably that's going to be the team to beat maybe. But Smith County, Cannon County, you look for Cannon, maybe it could be a strong 2. So they could be competing with Westmoreland.
That's for sure. Let's go ahead and look at the 6AA boys Honeycutt Carthage scoreboard. You got the Cab over Cannon County. That was their Huff and Puff Trucking game of the week. Gallatin, a big win over Westmoreland. Then Gordonsville on Saturday night at home gets the 3-point win over the Owls. Then on, when you go back at Tristan Wood was huge for Gordonsville in that game. Had 11 or 13 points in the last quarter. Was like a perfect 5 of 5 shooting. He was the difference in that ball game.
Yeah, he was, and Gordonsville just playing absolutely great ball so far at the start of this
Only
season.
lost 2 games to Eagleville and DeKalb County. Have the Tigers, one of their better starts in a long time. Cannon County over Huntland. Davidson Academy gets the win over Westmoreland, and that came in the Portland Christmas tournament. Let's go ahead and look at some more scores. Cannon County, a close win over the Tennessee Heat. Then Ravenwood gets the win over Westmoreland. Then Gordonsville last night. The game went to overtime. Gordonsville had a shot at the end of regulation, and then with 3.4 seconds left, Watertown had a shot, but the game went into overtime, and then Watertown committed a intentional foul, which really kind of opened the door for Gordonsville to get the home win. But Coach Kevon Honeycutt's team played extremely well, and if they can play that well, they can make some noise in District 6 AA.
No doubt about that. And you talk about Cannon County and Tennessee Heat. They need the last second shot to secure that win.
Cannon County plays against Middle Tennessee Christian there on Wednesday. Let's go ahead and look at some boys standings. Of course, all 3 teams in the lower part there, below 500 in Westmoreland sitting there at 8-5, and they played a very, very tough schedule here.
They have, and Westmoreland, when you look at that, is everybody may be saying, okay, well they're probably going to be a solid number 1, but don't count out these other 3 teams, because anything can happen on any given night. Of
course, the Owls still hoping to wait the return of Peyton Hicks. Bryce Curry didn't play the other night. You got Johnny Lida. If they can get everybody back, they may make a little noise, but whether they're going to do that, hopefully Hicks is going to return the 1st of January for the Owls. Let's go ahead and look at some Honeycutt Carthage District 7 girls. Livingston big over Macon County. That was the initial district game, I think, for both Livingston and Macon. CAK out of Knoxville gets the big win over Stone Memorial, and then Upman down in the Palm Coast Classic gets the win over Nice, Florida. Upman then girls turn around on Saturday night and get another big win as well. Go ahead and look at other scores from District 7 AAA on the Honeycutt Carthage scoreboard. York beats Stone Memorial, and then White County and Red Bowling. We talked about that a little bit earlier. And then when you look at Jackson and Macon and Upland, another big win down in Lebanon. The U, when you look at the teams that they play, Jeff, it toughens them up for what should be an outstanding District 7 AA regular season race.
I tell you, it's going to be exciting to watch, because already, and we'll see the standings here in just a minute. White County is. White County's tough. I am a little surprised that Stone Memorial struggles. Upperman showing how good they are. Beating Collierville, and then going down in Florida and getting a couple of games. They had the stumble in White County, but Upperman still playing good ball.
Let's go ahead and look at more scores. We've got White County over Baylor. Then you got Clay and Macon, White and York, Upperman, Columbia, Livingston, Barron, all in Christmas tournaments that, no doubt will make these teams better because there's a lot of quality competition there.
That's a good game. White County and York Institute, a championship game in White County.
Of course, York, defending Class AA runner-up, only had 7 or 8 players a year ago, and 6, whatever it was, and they get on a roll and go all the way to the finals. A little bit surprising by the Dragonettes, but they've got a lot of talent with as few players as they have.
Yeah, they do. And yeah, even though they're shorthanded, they have played dominating games. In the shootout, they was a winner over Stone Memorial, and then beat South Gibson.
Let's go ahead and look at the District 7 AAA standings as far as the girls go. You got White County with an impressive 12-1 mark. Upman sitting there at 11-1. Of course, that only loss was to White County. But when you look at those top 5 teams there, I don't know that there's a whole lot of difference. Of course, DeKalb is fading a little bit, didn't play well at home against Cannon County, but at least Upman, Livingston, Cumberland, and White County, that's going to be a dogfight for that regular season championship.
It is. The top 4, last year the top 4 was very tough. I think one game separated first to fourth. And, right now you're looking at, like a game is separating first from fourth. I think it's going to be that whole way because it is tough to win on the road in the district. But right now White County sitting there at 2-0 along with Cumberland. It's going to be a tough game.
Even DeKalb, Macon, and Stone, who are probably the bottom 3 teams in there. I think when you have to play them on the road, if you're those top 4 teams, that could be upset. Danger.
It could be a trap game, because Stone Memorial plays well at home. We talked about their struggles. They're 6-9. Macon County, those girls played a lot of them were freshmen last year. They got a year under their belt. We'll see how they match up.
Let's go ahead and look at the Honeycutt Carthage District 7 AAA boys scoreboard. Several scores to go through. Upman gets the win down at the Palm Coast Classic. White County a big win in a border game with Van Buren County. Livingston over Macon, and Stone gets a win. Upland boys fall in the Palm Coast Classic. But when you look at these teams that these upper Cumberland teams is what I'll call them play, that's got to toughen you up for the future.
Yeah, and especially White County. Getting a win at home, they still got to go to Van Buren in play. The Livingston getting their first win over Macon County. That was their first district game of the year. Stone Memorial still looking tough on the season.
Let's go ahead and look at some more scores from Monday. White County big over Bradford. Mount Juliet gets the win over DeKalb by 4. I thought going in that would be a great ball game, a close contested ball game, and it was.
Yeah, and that's a good win for Mount Juliet. And would it have been a great win for DeKalb? Absolutely. Both teams played very well. It's just Mount Juliet got enough to win.
White County a big win at home in their Christmas tournament over at McMahon Central. Upman gets the win over Siegel. Heritage over Cumberland County. And then DeKalb County rebounds with a win in the Adidas shootout. Let's go ahead and get some more scores. Jackson over Macon County, Livingston over Danville, Kentucky, and then of course you got White County, Livingston, Upman, and Macon boys all playing in the Christmas tournaments. And let's go ahead and look at the standings real quickly.
And that White County East Nashville game is a championship game. East Nashville undefeated still on the season.
A lot of talent from their football team, which was in Smith County's region, on that basketball team, on the basketball floor. Stone Memorial, Upman, White County, Livingston, and DeKalb. All 5 of those teams, I think, will, fight or battle for that. There's going to be 3 teams going to be left at home heading to the region out of this 17 district for sure.
And you hate to see that because even though DeKalb is 0-2, I get a feeling they're going to be in the mix there come February.
We'll have more as when we return. As we remind you, you're watching the Box Score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master, certified, and experienced heavy-duty maintenance techs, maintenance supervisor, entry-level and experienced miners and exploration infill drillers, grade operator, electricians, laboratory and metallurgical technician, senior metallurgist, and more. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and lots more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
Preston Brothers Construction knows what it takes to get your next building project completed the right way and the way that you want it done. As a licensed, bonded, and insured general contractor serving Woodbury and surrounding counties, you can trust Preston Brothers to put their many years of experience to work for you. For help with the design, construction, or management of your next residential or commercial building project, there's only one team to call: Preston Brothers Construction, 615-563-2885.
Here's normal internet speed. Here's the gig difference. Average speed, gig. Not enough speed, gig speed. With gig internet from DTC, everything's different. Video streaming is a breeze. Music and photos fly. And gaming gets real with no data limits. That's the gig difference. Call or visit DTC online and get your gig today.
And here with first-year head coach of the Watertown Purple Tigers, Coach Kevon Honeycutt. Coach, I know you had a game last night at Gordonsville. I was over there and watched that. I thought your offense played as well as I've seen you play, I guess, 3 or 4 games this season. I thought they played well. And, Gordonsville's a very talented team under Greg Bibb.
Yeah, and going to Gordonsville, I knew what we were up against. It's hard to beat somebody at home, especially when they're a good team. And I think that's as best we've played all year. And I think we gave Gordonsville everything we had. I told the guys for the game, we've got to be able to find fuel on the empty tank. When we're running out of gas, man, there's always something left in that tank that you can always find faith. When it hits zero, you got a little bit left in you. And I think last night, we called some guys out and told them, we've got to make game-winning plays down the stretch to win big games. And, it didn't roll our way. We made some big game-winning type plays. Chase McConnell, 6'6", taking a charge. You don't see 6'6" kids willing to take charges. And he done that. That's a game-winning type play. It's early for us. Offensively, we're finally starting to get some legs underneath us. We're finally starting to find our identity as far as, who's capable of shooting what type of shot. And, J.J. Goodall done a phenomenal job last night. Here early on, he's been settling and shooting questionable shots. Last night, man, he just ran the offense. And, if we got out of control, he ran and got it like we've preached in the last 3 weeks. Kept us under control. And like I said, playing Gordonsville at Gordonsville's tough. I don't think they've lost a game at home yet. Beat Smith County at home. I think they beat Trousdale County. They're good. They're tough. Only, lose to Riverdale or Eagleville as it was, down the stretch. I mean, that's tough. Gordonsville's good. They're as good as anybody we played this year. But I think we're finally, starting to find our legs and find our little fuel on the empty tank, as I said.
Coach, I thought offensively you got off to a great start. You knocked down, I guess, 3 threes there in the first 3 minutes, and it seemed like it gave your team a lot of confidence.
Yeah, and that's something that we've talked about, man. We've when we come out and teams punch us in the mouth first possession, it's like we struggle. And told them for the game, I said, we've got to be that team that, we come out, we're going to throw the first punch. We're not going to let them start it. We're going to start it for us and get ourselves going. And we've talked about it. We call ourselves, we're front runners is what we call ourselves. If there's no adversity at first, we're playing well, if we're making shots, we're going to roll. But if we start out first couple possessions sluggish and we can't get nothing to go, I think it's a mental thing for us. They're used to getting beat in the last 2 or 3 years. It's one of those things that, like I said, they don't know how to respond versus we're having a reaction. And something I preach to them, we've got to respond to situations when we can't make shots. Not have a reaction where we start doing it out of emotion. We got to respond where it's premeditated. And those guys, last night, man, they done that. We made a couple shots early on, and we played off with some emotion, and we played with some energy and some tenacity. Last night, you could tell that we wanted to be there, and we wanted to get that one back just as bad as any one we've lost this year. And offensively, that's the best we've played. And, I don't know if we could play any better offensively. I think, we shot 55% from the field, 40% from three, 7 of 9 from the free throw line. You play that good, man, you're going to win a lot of ball games. It just so happens, Gordonsville's just as good, if not better than anybody we've played this year. It does a good job. Those kids do a good job. It's a tough place to play.
Coach, you've played a tough schedule here in November and December, and take a look at the schedule here. DeKalb County, Gordonsville, you've put a lot on there, and also it looks like there's some low-scoring games. Do you try to kind of slow these big teams down to try to get them into your type?
Our identity, and we talked about it, it's something that they bought into the first day of practice was, we're going to sit down, we're going to play defense. We're going to make you guard is what we're going to do. We're not going to be that team that's going to get up and down and score in the 60s and 70s because we're not capable of doing that. Now, I eat my words for last night. If we play like we did last night offensively and we play as good defensively as what we have recently, we're going to win some ball games with it. Do we want the game up in the 60s and 70s? No, because, we don't like our odds of winning that. We like to keep it in the 40s and 50s. And that comes back to our guys who've just done a really good job being patient offensively. And I think part of our problem is early on when we were struggling to score, we were being too patient offensively. We were passing up good looks and then shooting questionable ones, whereas, we want to pass up questionable ones and get good ones. And, DeKalb, if I'm not mistaken, I think DeKalb's 9-2, Gordonsville's 9-2. That's both of those games right there. I mean, that's 3 losses on the year, and all those losses, we go into overtime with DeKalb, had a chance to win it at the end. All those losses are within reach. And same thing with Watts Creek, first game of the year. Now that was a tough matchup for us. Every single one more athletic, could fly around. But that was a testament to say, hey, if we can sit down and guard these kids, then we can guard kids in our area because we're not going to see a team that puts 5 athletes on the floor that can absolutely just fly around. But schedule-wise, we've had a tough little skid. Saudi Daisy, they're a big 3A school down next to Chattanooga area. They're playing well right now. I think they're 7-3 or 9-3. That's a loss right there. DeKalb, 9-2. Taking teams down to the wire on their schedule, and then you got Gordonsville, man, that's just as good as anybody that they've played, and they beat Smith County twice. They've got some big wins on their schedule, and they're good. They're a good program. We've not had we've had 2 kind of games where we can relax and sit back and kind of just play. Mount Juliet Christian at our place, and then FC Boyd. First Mount Juliet Christian game, we didn't have Trent Spradlin, and it was a sluggish, game to win. We've had a tough little skid, man, but the guys just keep responding. They're bought into what we're doing. They're bought into what our identity has to be. But man, it's a tough little schedule, man. We're right there for it being a different overall record right now. And those guys understand that. We preach it to them every day. We don't want to be playing our best basketball right now. I think some of the teams that we have played their best basketball, and that they're not going to improve much. I think our upside is much higher than some of the teams that we've played this year.
Coach, in the game at Watertown, you really struggled to score. That was a ball game with Gordonsville. I got to see that. But down the stretch, I don't know, you maybe scored 1 or 2 points in the last 4 or 5 minutes of that ball game where you had repeated opportunities where you get a defensive stop, you take a charge, you get a steal, whatever the case may be, but yet you couldn't convert offensively. I thought last night in the game, both teams where the lead seesawed, 8 or 9 times before that game went into overtime. 8 or 9 times the lead changed hands in the fourth quarter, and it was a great atmosphere, and one that I know that will help your team down the stretch. Having been, played and kind of, have to make plays in the fire.
Yeah, and that's something that, it comes back to when we talked about reaction and the response. And, we have some guys that aren't mentally tough right now, and they've been beaten up on, and we're having to teach them how to respond versus doing things out of reaction. And it's not just those guys; it's me too. There's times where I've ripped some kids that and I sit back and look at maybe I should have just gave a different response instead of having a reaction to what he had done. And I think last night overall, I think all of us just collectively, had a response. But at our place, when we play Gordonsville, we just, we've got to have guys that are willing to shoot, to make shots. We talk about at practice when we do our game-like repetition stuff. We tell them we don't need shooters. We need makers is what we need. Anybody can come into the gym and shoot the basketball. And when we went into our shooting stuff the last couple of days of practice, we said, hey, you all need to focus on attention to detail, game-like repetition. Everything that we do now is game rep. And these are shots that you're capable of shooting. And we want you all to shoot this. And I think it translated over. And me and my assistant coaches, we talked about it. When it clicks with our guys on, hey, what's a good shot, what's a bad shot? Corey Smith, he's actually got a concussion from last night. And he's one of those guys that didn't play any the last 2 years. Marcus Reynolds hasn't played any the last 2 years, really. He's a sophomore, very little experience. We're playing guys right now that are having to grow up pretty fast, and I think we're starting to do that. At our place when against Gordonsville, we had some of those guys that didn't show up. Trent kind of come out sluggish. JJ, doing what we don't want JJ to do. But our guys are starting to buy into, hey, this is what your role is. You've got to own your role, is what we tell them, and they're starting to do that.
Coach, you got the Christmas break coming up. After that, you have your own tournament, the Aflac tournament. Jellicoe and Liberty Creek coming in. You tell us a little bit about them.
Jellicoe, Mike Reynolds, known for a long time. He's been at Jellicoe for 13, 14 years maybe, and always does a really good job with what he's got. You never know what he's going to have because they usually get a couple kids that transfer in and move down into that area. But Mike Reynolds does a phenomenal job. I know they're not as good as what they were in the past. Last year they were really good. From the district that I was in, we played them. But just seeing him come back up and getting to coach against him again is going to be fun. Those kids are going to play hard. They're going to get after you. And they buy into what Mike wants, and Mike wants the toughness is what he wants. And, we've struggled against teams that are built on toughness, and hopefully we can come out kind of like we did against Gordonsville and just kind of, set the tone immediately. I thought that's, last night we set the tone. Hey, this is how this game's going to go, and you're either going to have to hang with us or you're going to have to go to the house. But Liberty Creek, you never know. They're a newer school. I wanted them on the schedule just to kind of give us because I know, Jellicoe, that's a game that we should win, and then turn around and you play Liberty Creek the next night. And, I think they're sitting 6-4 or 6-5, and they've had some tough games, and they're pulling kids from different areas. And that's the best thing about it right now. I don't know much about these schools. So me making the schedule kind of, put us in that situation of, hey, here's what we're just going to throw out and play. And then Mount Juliet that last night, that's going to be a fun one. It's a Wilson County game. Hopefully we get a good turnout. That's always going to be a battle. Last year was a battle. And I kind of wanted to put that on there, say, hey, guys, let's go get this one back. You lost it last year. Now it's time to get one back. But that Christmas tournament's going to be fun. Got a lot of teams coming. Just off the top of my head, I think there's 5 boys teams that are, 8-2 or 8-3 and up maybe. Girls team, same thing. It's going to be competitive across the board. It's going to be fun, a little experience. Playing those 3 games at home, and then turn around and playing 2 more after the Christmas tournament, going into district play at home is going to be big for us.
Well, Coach Kevon Honeycutt, we appreciate you visiting with us, and Merry Christmas to you and the Watertown Purple Tigers.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
We'll take a break. We'll have an interview with Gordonsville Tigers head coach Greg Bibb when we return. As we remind you, you're watching The Box Score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway.
What is your emergency?
I think I'm being robbed.
Sir?
These big home security guys want way too much money from me.
Let's connect you to a local company right away.
It's a crime what big national companies charge for home security.
For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation.
Help is on the way, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Switch now and save. Call or visit DTC Security online today.
Preston Brothers Construction knows what it takes to get your next building project completed the right way and the way that you want it done. As a licensed, bonded, and insured general contractor serving Woodbury and surrounding counties, you can trust Preston Brothers to put their many years of experience to work for you. For help with the design, construction, or management of your next residential or commercial building project, there's only one team to call: Preston Brothers Construction, 615-563-2885.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
Preston Brothers Construction knows what it takes to get your next building project completed the right way and the way that you want it done. As a licensed, bonded, and insured general contractor serving Woodbury and surrounding counties, you can trust Preston Brothers to put their many years of experience to work for you. For help with the design, construction, or management of your next residential or commercial building project, there's only one team to call: Preston Brothers Construction, 615-563-2885.
From payroll and bookkeeping to expert tax preparation and advice, H&R Block is ready to work for you. For the year-round services you need and the one-on-one attention you deserve, partner with H&R Block Business Services. You focus on your business, we'll handle the books. Call today to make an appointment with our Carthage, Smithville, or Woodbury office. H&R Block Business Services, helping your business prosper with a unique combination of services, expertise, and convenient locations.
And here with Gordonsville Tigers head coach Greg Bibb, I guess you could say a new leaf has turned over yesterday. Coach, you don't look old enough to be a grandpa, but I know you've got to be excited about your little one.
Well, without a doubt, and she looks like a perfectly made little baby doll. She's gorgeous, and we're excited as we can be. I may not look old enough, but my wife's old enough to be a grandmother.
Well, Coach, you're gonna get in the doghouse here.
Christmas is coming up.
That's right. Christmas is coming up. That's not good. But Coach, I know that was an exciting day yesterday. I know the win was big for you in overtime last night, but when you have those life moments like you had yesterday, that brings a lot of joy.
Well, it does, and it keeps a lot of things in perspective, too. Not real happy about how we played last night, especially on the defensive end. But those, like you said, those life events that happen that bring joy, it's absolutely amazing where your focus goes as soon as that game's over.
Coach, you got a big win last night. I thought Watertown played as well offensively as we saw them play. When you played them over there, you kind of shut them down, especially in the fourth quarter, to get the win in Watertown, and now you get the sweep. And when you look at Coach Honeycutt's crew, they kind of buy in on the defensive end. Of course, he's the first-year head coach there at Watertown, but I think they're going to do some good things because they really play hard.
Watertown did. They played a great game last night. The Sprattling kid was unconscious, and I don't think we did a good enough job on him because that was a focal point going in, not to let him get an open three and contest everything. And then for us to come out and give up 2 back-to-back threes to him, and then another one when we were pressing and we didn't get rotated to him, it's just not good enough. Offensively, where I think we're better than we've been since I've been here, but defensively, it's just not good enough yet. And that's what I'm preaching to the kids right now. You look at the Super Bowl champions, champions all throughout the NCAA, whatever it is, those teams are great defensively. And then we get that fine-tuned along with the way that we're playing offensively right now. I think we could be a really special team.
Coach, I saw the first meeting when you was at Watertown. In the second half, you really turned it up defensively. What was the key? Because I think you just held them to 1 free throw.
Yeah, we did. We just did a lot better job with a lot more energy. I don't think we had a lot of energy last night playing. I don't think we played as hard as we can play. I think we did at times, but it's not consistent yet. Going into the locker room at halftime, second quarter, we didn't even score at Watertown. So a lot was talked about offensively and defensively at halftime there. I don't think I've ever had a team not score in a quarter.
Coach, when you look last night, I thought both teams' level of play was pretty high. I thought both teams executed well. Yeah, maybe defensively, neither team played maybe a little bit subpar, but I thought it was just kids making shots. When you look, not sure what the stats are, but I would say both of y'all shot over 50% for the ball game. I thought, first of all, you took good shots, and then people stepped up and made shots, and it was a lot of different people for you, and I know that's got to please you as a coach.
Oh, it does. I think we shot 48% last night. They shot 49%. We did execute. I mean, we got the shots that we wanted, and from the people that we wanted them from, and they did. We really stepped up and started making shots now over the last couple of games. And what we were really struggling with early in the year, I mean, we were 55% from free throw line about 4 games ago, and shooting in the 30s. And a lot of that's getting reps with some of those football guys coming in too, and it's definitely gotten better. And yes, I was very pleased with our execution on the offensive end. Coach,
in 9-2 on the season, you've had some great quality wins against Eagleville. Even though you lost the game by 2, had to feel good about the way you played against them.
Well, not the first quarter. I mean, we got down 21-4 at one point, and we decided to pull all our starters and put in that second group, and that second group had us to 3 by halftime. So yeah, those guys came in and did a fantastic job. And then the second half, everybody, as far as defensively, really locked in. A lot of ball pressure to the ball where we were supposed to be, instead of being locked up with our man on our weak side like we were a lot last night. But the guys did a great job. We just got a few plays, a few turnovers down the stretch, a few missed free throws down the stretch. We changed a couple of those, and that outcome's a lot different.
Coach, when you look, you lost to a very talented DeKalb County team, a team that's very long. I think their shortest starter's about 6 foot, and then their tallest guy's about 6'5". They're very skilled. I think that will help you, although you lost that ball game, to play against a team like that, which you may see in tournament time the deeper you get.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you're going to see those guys like East Robertson that has a lot of length as well in the region. Trousdale's got a lot of length. So really the schedule is stacked up to help us in the postseason.
Coach, when you look at your Christmas tournament, I know it's going to be special for you to going back to your alma mater.
Oh, it is. And, I hadn't been back much. I don't venture out much when I do go back home outside my mom and dad's house and my sister's house. So I hadn't walked in those doors in a really long time. I coached there for 1 year, my first year out of college. And it is going to be really special to get back there. And I'm sure memories will start flooding back to me, ones I hadn't thought of in years. And, it's stacking up with the competition there. It's going to be really good. I mean, we play Covington, Tennessee first. I just saw a little bit of film, just got some on them yesterday. They're long and athletic, just like you were talking about the DeKalb County. So that tournament, and that's going to get us in like a tournament mindset because it's going to be 3 tough games right in a row.
Coach, staying where you're staying, and you can explain that a little bit about staying, I guess, at your family's business there, should be good for team bonding. And I know that's something that we don't discuss much, and not that your team is a bunch of individual players. That's not the thing. But I think having events like this where your team gets to stay in the same place, in the same area, I think that builds a stronger bond for you going forward.
Absolutely. And when we were looking at this, I called around to several hotels trying to get a quote. And then I just thought to myself, my sister has that event center. She owns a wedding venue there. My brother-in-law, he owns a nursery right behind it. And, having those guys together as much as we can possibly get them together where they have to rely on each other when mom and dad aren't around, when they're just fellowshipping with each other. That has to do a lot with team chemistry, and that's what you have to have. You absolutely have to have it. You got to play well offensively, defensively, come tournament time, but if you don't have any team chemistry, you're not going to go very far.
Coach, after the Christmas tournament in Kentucky, you jump right into the fire in 2023, that first week of 2023, district games with Clark Range and Red Boiling Springs. How excited are you to get ready for district and play?
I'm excited about it because, we play in one of the toughest districts in the state, without a doubt. And, starting out with Clark Range, which is playing better, looking at their scores, I hadn't seen anything film-wise or in person on them, but they're playing a lot better looking at their scores. And then Red Boiling has two kids that can score it as good as anybody in our district. And then they also had a big left-handed kid transfer in from I don't know where, but that can really play. So it's going to be a tough matchup. And, I hope, like I said, that tournament in Kentucky gets us ready for that.
Coach, traditionally, and I guess pretty experienced when it comes to this, when you go to Kentucky to play in a Christmas tournament, they let a lot go. It's a lot more physical. Do you want your team to be in that physical battle? Is that one of the reasons you chose to go to this tournament?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I wanted to go back home, but then I also wanted to put them in that situation because once you get to postseason, it gets a whole lot more physical. And then when you get in a situation where you get other associations officials, if they come from Metro, if they come from somewhere else, usually they let a whole lot more go. And that doesn't need to be the first time that you see that. So that's why we put them in that situation. And when you go to Kentucky, it tends to be a whole lot more physical.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you visiting with us. Congratulations on your grandbaby. I know you're excited about that. And getting to hold that baby for Christmas, that's going to be a pretty special present.
Well, I'm going in to watch film with my team of last night right now. And as soon as that's over, I'm going straight to the hospital.
Well, Coach, best of luck to you and the Gordonsville Tigers.
Well, thank you so much, dude.
We've been visiting with head coach Greg Bibb of the Gordonsville Tigers. We'll take a break, and we'll have more of the box score brought to you by Carthage Safeway when we return on DTC 3.
From payroll and bookkeeping to expert tax preparation and advice, H&R Block is ready to work for you. For the year-round services you need and the one-on-one attention you deserve, partner with H&R Block Business Services. You focus on your business, we'll handle the books. Call today to make an appointment with our Carthage, Smithville, or Woodbury office. H&R Block Business Services, helping your business prosper with a unique combination of services, expertise, and convenient locations.
If you're a commercial driver looking for a company to call home, Huff and Puff Trucking is the company for you. Our employees are professional and dedicated individuals that take pride in what they do. We offer an outstanding pay package with a dispatch structure that maximizes your home time. To learn more about a company that knows you by name and treats you like family, call us at 1-800-965-5033 or visit our website at huffpufftrucking.com.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master, certified, and experienced heavy-duty maintenance techs, maintenance supervisor, entry-level and experienced miners and exploration infill drillers, grade operator, electricians, laboratory and metallurgical technician, senior metallurgist, and more. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and lots more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
And welcome back to the Box Score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway. And speaking of Carthage Safeway, you can go out there and get you Christmas ham. They've got that Clifty Farm, which is my favorite. They've got that on sale, and I invite you to go out there and see Todd and Angela at Carthage Safeway out on Dixon Springs Highway. If you're in Smith County or anywhere close, you can go by and see those. Let's go ahead and look at some.
So say that Clifty Ham or that Kentucky Legend would be good.
Both of them, and they've got both of those, and both of them on sale. Been there yesterday. Let's look at the upcoming games out of District 7A. Clark Range, tough job going down to Pensacola to play in Florida. That's got to be tough.
No, I feel for them, especially with the cold weather coming. But they said it's supposed to be cold in Florida too, so
not as cold probably as
not as cold as probably single digits.
Gordonsville girls going down to Richmond. That's going to be a pretty good track for them. Jake Dillard's team. Disappointing. I talked to him after the ball game last night. He wants his team. Of course, they're without Callie Underwood. Suffered a concussion in the Smith County game. She's their point guard. I know she's just a freshman. She played a lot as an 8th grader. Not sure when she's going to return, but they'll get to see a lot of different styles of basketball when they travel down to Giles County. Pickett County going to Ray County to play in the Christmas Invitational over there. Gordonsville boys returning to Coach Greg Bibb's alma mater and playing up there at Todd County, Central Kentucky. We had an interview with him earlier. He was excited, Jeff, about his team going back up there because of the physical style of play, the talent that they'll be playing against.
Yeah, that's always good when you get to go to places like that, experience how those teams play, and get you ready, for the district coming up.
You look at Covington boys, who is, I think, their first game in that tournament. Covington, a very athletic team, a very long team, and one that Gordonsville have to play well if they're going to win that opening game. Of course, Todd County is right north of Clarksville. In fact, a lot of Gordonsville fans are staying there in Clarksville area to travel up to that tournament. I think it's the first county north of the border. And Covington made it all the way to the semifinals in Class 3A in football this year. In fact, that's who East Nashville went to get to the state championship game. That's who they defeated, was Covington at Covington. Looking at the District 6AA upcoming games, you got Watertown hosting that Aflac tournament. A lot of great teams over there. Smith County boys have got 3 games, one of those being against Jellicoe, a team that they saw did not play in the game up in Pickett County at the Bobcat Classic. And speaking of Bobcat Classic, there's one over in South Carolina at Hilton Head that the Smith County girls are going to next week, and one of their potential games could be against a team out of 7A basketball, and probably a very tough team. Westmoreland never wanted to shy away. They're going to the Good Pasture Christmas Classic. Jeff, they played some extremely tough teams.
There's a lot of good teams that comes to Good Pasture just about every year, and they get a good crop of teams there.
Let's go ahead and look at the 7 AAA upcoming games. Of course, the schedule not as heavy as it normally is. Some teams don't play, either play pre-Christmas and don't play between Christmas and New Year's. Others like to play in 2 tournaments, and some take completely that time off. It just depends on what that coach wants. You look at Stone Memorial boys, they're going up to Maryville, playing their Christmas tournament. Of course, Cap County girls going up there again, along with, they'll have some familiarity with the teams. Upperman boys at Ridgeland Christmas Tournament, which is where the Gordonsville girls are going, and then Livingston girls are going to the Holiday Hoops Fest. Should be, you're going to see some teams that you probably don't see any other time of the year.
Yeah, and going up there and also too gives you a chance to kind of experience what it's like in other cities,
right.
Because there's a lot that don't get to, travel around and get out of their
right.
counties.
Let's go ahead and look at some more games. Upperman girls going to Greenville to the Ladies Classic. I've been to that. That's always a great tournament. Macon County boys traveling down to Ray County. Michael Owens is first-year head coach. White County girls an Enville task. Coach Dodgen, you better take the sunscreen going down to Sandestin for the beach blowout in Florida. White County boys at Marlin Christmas Tournament in Florida, and then Livingston boys going to the Aflac Christmas Classic in Watertown. Well, for Justin Malden and Jeff Barnes, I'm Terry Collins. We want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.